Hey guys, I'm Steve, also known as TerraMantis. In this video, we're going to cover some tips to help you during your time in the post-pandemic hellscape that is Washington, D.C. in The Division 2. The topics will range from things like simple tactics to improve your game and gunplay, essential perks at the start of the game, gun and gear crafting through recalibration, to simple aspects that are extremely important but easy to miss if it's your first Division game. Let's start with some extremely basic but very important stuff before moving on to the later game mechanics. The first thing I'd suggest any player, new or old, to jump into is the game's options. From here, you can hit UI and go to Customize HUD to fit the interface to your liking. But most important is increasing the size of the map. Enlarging the map will really help with enemy location and important map markers that would otherwise be a little too small to see. Now, another important HUD option is actually in the inventory. Once entering the character tab of the inventory, hit the key for options. Go down to grid view and switch this on. This will allow you to see an item's attributes at a glance, and this is important for later when we discuss weapon and armor attributes, talents, and recalibration. Before all of that though, let's briefly discuss one of the most fundamental and important features to the Division, the cover-to-cover mechanics. If you're unaware, when taking cover in the Division, you're able to move your reticle over your next desired point of cover to easily transition to a new position with a simple button press and hold. This is a very important part of the game for several reasons. For one, with the cover-to-cover mechanic, you can actually move faster than if you were to simply sprint to your destination on your own. Additionally, and more importantly, cover shifting with this mechanic seems to result in much less damage while adjusting positions. Simply put, with the cover movement system, you're faster, you're less likely to take damage, and the game punishes you for not using the mechanic. So, you may as well do it. Now obviously, staying mobile by changing positions is important to combat, but movement while managing downtime during reloads is also important to increasing damage per second. And a smart little tip to that end is to start reloading just before moving from cover to cover. With this method, in the process of moving, more than likely by the time you reach your destination, your weapon will be reloaded. This is especially useful for guns that have hefty reload times like a light machine gun. Long story short, if you're going to be repositioning anyway, may as well be reloading in the process as well. Nothing is worse than needing to reload while an enemy is about to mow you down. Now on that note, another quick tip for reloading during combat in a pinch is to roll just at the last second of the reload timer, when there's about 2/3 of the meter filled. If timed properly, the roll will cancel the reload animation, but your magazine will now be full. This is a bit risky, seeing that if not timed properly, you could end up worse off than you were at the start of your initial reload by canceling the reload, and having no bullets when you get back up. But if you can master its timing, reload canceling is definitely better than standing there getting shot in the face. At least with this method, you have a small chance of rolling out of some damage. Alright, now let's move from mechanical skills to in-game utility skills. In Division 2, at least at the point of this video, there are currently 8 skills or tools at your disposal. Now, to earn these tool skills initially, you will need skill points. These are earned by completing main missions of the campaign. So not only is sticking to the main campaign the fastest route to unlocking every tool skill, but it's also definitely the fastest means to reach the maximum level of 30 as well. So keep that in mind. Now it's important to note that after unlocking a tool with a skill point, that each gadget has several different variations. To unlock each subsequent tool variant will require 5 SHD tech points, aka Shade Tech. The catch is, these Shade Tech points are also used to unlock perks as well. So if you're interested in unlocking all those skill tools as soon as possible, it's important not to waste those perk points. So on that note, let's briefly discuss the best starting perks. First and foremost, everyone should come out of the gate picking up the XP Accolade perks. This grants various XP bonuses for performing different feats during combat. It's definitely the best perk from the start to get the most XP as soon as possible. Now the next perk you should grab is Deconstruction. This allows items to be broken down into crafting materials with a greater chance of improved results. And you'll need those materials for crafting mods and weapons, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now with all these materials from Deconstruction, you're gonna need room to carry them. So the next perk I would suggest to grab early on is the Crafting Material Expansion. There's nothing worse than seeing precious resources sitting on the ground that you can't pick up. Now obviously between skill variants and perks, if you want to unlock everything, you're gonna need a lot of Shade Tech. And who wouldn't want to unlock everything? New skills and perks allow you to tackle the game in a variety of methods, as well as progressively give you an edge as you upgrade. So you're going to want to make sure to hunt down shade caches in each zone as soon as possible. Now, more importantly, to mark the shade tech caches on your map, all you have to do is search the drive of a computer that can be found inside every zone's safe house. Other than that, make sure to complete all the missions with this symbol to be rewarded with shade tech points as well. Now, apart from perks and skills, gun mods are probably the best means to tailor combat to your preferred playstyle. And you can basically get one mod for each weapon type through perks, but unlocking this straight away is definitely not necessary. This is because in addition to perks, you can also unlock weapon mods from completing side missions and finishing projects. Now, in addition to weapon mods for customization, there's also gear. New to Division 2 is branded gear, and in short, it has a wide range of sets, and as long as the brand matches from one slot to another, a passive bonus is gained. Now, what's more important though is gear attributes. And remember when I told you to turn on grid view in the options of your inventory? Well, that's for this. You see, in Division 2 there are 3 types of attributes: blue shield for defense, yellow battery skill for utility, and red crosshair for gun offensive. And each one of these gear attributes can have a variety of different stats, like a higher chance to crit for guns, a health or armor bonus, skill cooldown reduction, and many others. And as you progress throughout the campaign, gear will go from having no attribute points to 1, then to 2, and then to many. Now, the reason these attributes are important, besides the stat bonuses they provide, is for the use of passive skills called talents. Some talents don't require any attributes to be active, but some do. Take the talent In Rhythm, for example, which says, while equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns. And there are no required attributes for this talent to remain active. Whereas the talent called Skilled, which says, skill kills have a 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns, but 6 or more yellow skill power is required for the talent to be active. And as mentioned only a moment ago, these attribute activation requirements for talents are gained from equipped gear and gear mod slots. You see, because gear can have slots for mods, and those slots can also increase your attribute score. The increase of attributes when filling a mod slot will only occur if you're placing a matching mod type into a matching mod slot. In other words, to gain 1 blue defense, you have to place a defensive mod in a defensive slot. If it's an offensive slot, then you'll need to put an offensive mod in there, and if it's a utility slot, you'll need a utility mod to gain the corresponding attribute. Now finally, you can see how much of each attribute you currently have by looking at the circle around your level in the character interface. And that's attributes related to talents and gear. But before we move on, I just want to point out some aspects of talents and the importance of their wording. Take the gun Ruthless, for example, the exotic you get for pre-ordering the game. I actually hate this gun. I could never get a handle on the binary trigger talent, which causes the gun to fire both when pressing and releasing the shoot button. It's just terrible. But where the gun is amazing is the talent Brutality, which says, when holstered, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal plus 20% as explosive damage. The thing that's important to note here is the part of the talent that says, when holstered, meaning this proc of extra damage is triggered when your other guns are shooting, not Ruthless. Even the game doesn't want you to use Ruthless, they want you to put it away. Anyway, this talent works great in conjunction with an LMG and its large magazine, getting a lot of procs and a lot of damage. In the end though, it's just something to note and pay attention to when thinking of weapons, builds, and the way they are used together. Now, the system in Division 2 that really allows the player to get creative with customization is through the use of Recalibration, which is unlocked in the later part of the main campaign. And in short, Recalibration allows you to take 2 items of the exact same type, destroy one of the 2 in the process, to apply a talent or attribute to the desired armor or weapon. Now for armor, if you want to replace an attribute, it's important to note that only attributes of the exact same type can replace one another, meaning you cannot recalibrate a red offensive attribute to a blue defensive attribute. Red, yellow, and blue attributes can only be recalibrated by stats from gear with the same color attribute. So in the case of attributes, it's basically only for upgrading that stat, if you find a better piece of gear with a version of that same stat. Talent recalibration is similar in that not every talent type can replace any talent slot. And the shortest and easiest way to tell if a talent is compatible to be overwritten by recalibration is to look at the symbol under the talent icon. If the icons match, then the talent can be recalibrated from a different piece of gear. Now, what's extremely important to note is that only one type of recalibration, either stats or talents, can be altered per piece of gear, indicated by the number of icons here. After that specific recalibration type has been made, only that exact same alteration can be made again. In other words, if you recalibrated the talent of a gun, only that same talent slot can be altered later down the line. If you recalibrated an attribute, only that exact same attribute can be altered down the line as well. And last but not least, what's also important to note is that crafted replica weapons and gear cannot be recalibrated at all. So that's something to keep in mind. Alright guys, that's about it from me. Let me know if you have any questions about the Division 2 in the comments section below. I'll do my best to answer anything I can. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It really goes a long way with the success and searchability of videos. It really helped me out a lot, and I'd appreciate it greatly. I also don't upload constantly, so please don't be afraid to hit that bell button to be notified of new videos. I promise I won't flood your inbox. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.